Hi, this is Remembering the Past, the show where we talk about people who've died recently who've had a profound effect on our history, our society, and our culture. Our main focus tonight will be another one of the great stars of Hollywood who's gone, Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney, aka Joe Ewell Jr., died recently at the age of 93. And let me put it to you this way with Mickey Rooney. He did a turn in a Night at the Museum series that's supposed to be aired in December 2014 for Christmas. If that airs, it'll have meant he was in the movies for 88 years, spanning 10 decades in show business. What else can I tell you about Mickey Rooney? Well, he had 8 wives, including his first wife, Ava Gardner. He married Ava Gardner before Frank Sinatra did. He was quite short. He was only 5'1", and he was a nice Irish boy from Brooklyn, so he had a nice Irish sense of humor. People were always coming up to him and asking him how short he was. He says, well, after I divorced my last wife, I was about $100,000 short. Mickey Rooney was the last living actor mentioned in Ray Davies' great song, Celluloid Heroes, and he alludes to Mickey Rooney's sense of humor.
And if you stopped on Mickey Rooney, he would still turn around and smile.
Here's a CNN report on the death of Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney grew up in show business, a product of Hollywood's golden age.
I am that merry wanderer of the night.
By the time he played Puck in the 1935 film A Midsummer Night's Dream, Rooney was already a veteran. He had made his acting debut before he was 2 in his parents' vaudeville act.
Mama was horrified.
Vaudeville would serve him well. He would sing, dance, and act his way through hundreds of films spanning decades.
Since you won't go to the dance, and I don't know why, and I don't want it.
In 1937, his energy and versatility landed him the role of Andy Hardy, a witty character, and one that he would revisit in a series of 15 films. He was a contract player for MGM at the time. In 1939, he was awarded a special Oscar for bringing The Spirit of Youth to film. His turn as a tough juvenile delinquent in Men of Boys Town paired him with Spencer Tracy in 1941. What followed was his first Oscar nomination for the feature Babes in Arms, in which he and Judy Garland promised to put on a show.
I'm going to write a show for us and put it on right here in Seaport.
Rooney was married in his 20s to Ava Gardner, but it didn't last. He would eventually marry 8 times. Still, Rooney was a much-honored man for his work. He was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including 1 for The Black Stallion. In 1983, Rooney was given an honorary Oscar for his lifetime contribution to film. He stayed busy well into his 80s with small roles in a handful of movies, including Night at the Museum in 2006.
Think about that. Mickey Rooney got a Lifetime Achievement Award more than 30 years before he died. The thing about Mickey Rooney is he did a lot of great stuff and he did a lot of crap. We'll try and concentrate on the great stuff and just mention the crap. It's just possible of all his great performances, his greatest was doing Shakespeare in A Midsummer Night's Dream in 1935 as Puck, and here he is with the final soliloquy. By the way, a young Jimmy Cagney and Olivia de Havilland are also in this movie.
If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear. And this weak and idle theme, no more yielding, but to dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend. Else the Puck a liar call. So good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends.
And a little later he does Babes in Arms with Judy Garland and Rodgers and Hart music. Made a lot of money for MGM, was the basis for all the Andy Hardy and Let's Put on a Show stuff after that.
We can't go on the road. No, we're too young. We're excess baggage. Listen, are you kids willing to stick together and pull yourselves out of a hole?
You bet.
I've got an idea. Our folks think we're babes in arms, huh? Well, we'll show them whether we're babes in arms or not. I'm going to write a show for us and put it on right here in Seaport. Most up-to-date thing these hicks around here have ever seen. Opening night, we'll have Max Gordon, Sam Harris, Lee Schubert down to give us the once-over. How about it, kids? We'll get every kid in this town on our side, and we'll start right now. What do you say?
Then we had all that great teaming of him and Judy Garland in the late 30s and early 40s before they both fell out of favor with MGM.
Say, I'm glad you're here, Mary, because I want to talk to you about something.
Okay.
Well, now, you know, I don't go around steaming people up.
Oh, no, of course not.
Well, anyway, remember once I told you that someday we might have our own dance orchestra?
Yes.
Well, the dog is barking.
What do you mean?
I've been thinking it over in my mind, and, well, a fella doesn't want to play with a broken-down brass band anymore, you know, the same da-da-da-da-da. He gets tired of that. Instead of the school having a band play the concert once a year, why, we can have our own great modern dance orchestra. We've got everything we need right here. We've got the brass, the piano, and the reeds, and you, and...
Me?
Sure, you can handle all the vocals.
Oh, that sounds wonderful, Jimmy.
A little later, he worked with Elizabeth Taylor in National Velvet.
Could the pie win the Grand National?
Velvet Brown, who do you think you are?
I'm the owner of the pie.
And does that give you leave to go poking your head out amongst the stars, believing you could take the richest, grandest prize a horse ever won?
He had done The Men of Boys Town in the 40s, but in the 50s it looked like his career might be drying up. He did do The Bridges of Toko-Ri, but after that he did a pretty bad television show. He did a Francis the Talking Mule movie, and his career was definitely on the downslide. And then it hit its unarguable low point in, ironically, what was a great movie in 1961. This is one of the all-time bad performances in movies. It's racist, it's politically incorrect. He doesn't even do a good job of acting in it. He has buck teeth and a real scowl, and he's a Japanese landlord to Audrey Hepburn in Breakfast at Tiffany's. He's Mr. Yunioshi. Really, really bad.
Once again, I must protest. I am definitely this time going to call in the police. Well, that's more better.
Let me tell you something, that would have killed most people's careers, but Mickey Rooney was nothing if not resilient, and the next year he teamed up with Rod Serling, Jackie Gleason, and Anthony Quinn for one of his great performances in Requiem for a Heavyweight.
A guy like him don't take to getting laughed at. Since when does a guy like him get sensitive all of a sudden? No, that's when he got sensitive. All right, then you tell me what is for him.
We're going to come back to Mickey Rooney and Rod Serling in a little while. Yeah, he was great there. I didn't think he was so good the next year's It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, but the scene with him and Buddy Hackett flying in the plane with Jim Backus, a drunk Jim Backus flying the plane, is really pretty funny. So he's doing a bunch of junk in the rest of the 60s, and he's doing some television in the early 70s, and he's paying alimony, and you got to figure his movie career is over when Francis Ford Coppola calls him for The Black Stallion, and he gives a tremendous performance.
Looking this way, not looking this way, and looking down on the ground, looking straight ahead. That's right. You want to see what's coming in back of you? You look underneath your arm. Scoot and boot. Understand? Then you got your balance. Pick them up there. Keep your knees in close when you're putting your stirrups on. Check down underneath here too. See that you're down there and get that leather out of your weight. Pull it back in there underneath, so it's your knees. Nothing in the ways in here. Okay. All right. Now you feel that in your legs. Feel it pulling on your legs back here. Huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Look ahead. Down the lane. Down the lane. No. You don't jump straight up and down. Look. Just try and keep your body as still as possible, because he'll be moving. He'll be making that rhythm. You just go on with him, see? No, you don't have to pump him. Just kind of go straight ahead with him. Huh? It's like you're throwing away.
This is his last great performance. Got an Academy Award nomination for that, and he played in a bunch of roles after that. In his 80s, his most notable role was in the Night at the Museum series, the first one with Ben Storr and Dick Van Dyke in 2006.
I'd like you to meet my two colleagues here. Reginald Gus. Where is he? I'll beat him with my fist.
He looks like a weirdie.
It's wonderful, guard. Terrible people skills.
Now listen, Lunchbox. Don't try anything funny. I once went 9 rounds with John L. Sullivan. Do you want the job or not, Snack Shack?
Let's talk briefly about the one aspect of Mickey Rooney's career you didn't hear too much about. He did some schlock television, but he also turned in one of the greatest performances ever on live television in Playhouse 90, when CBS went to a 90-minute live drama series for a little while. In the late 1950s, right before live television closed down, we talked about that with Sid Caesar. They got the best actors, best writers, and best directors, and all you have to do is hear this segment from his piece called The Comedian in 1957. He plays Sammy Hogarth, a Sid Caesar, Milton Berle type. It's directed by John Frankenheimer. Listen to the cast, the writers, the introducer. You know this was quality television. And his performance was a tour de force.
City and Hollywood. Playhouse 90. Tonight starring Mickey Rooney, Edmund O'Brien, Kim Hunter, Mel Torme, Constance Ford. Playhouse 90 to introduce tonight's show, Miss Claudette Colbert.
Good evening. Tonight, Playhouse 90 presents The Comedian, the story of a ruthless but fascinating entertainer. The Comedian is the work of 2 distinguished writers. The author of the original story, Ernest Lehman, who has written the screenplays for such popular motion pictures as The King and I, Somebody Up There Likes Me, and Executive Suite. The adapter, Rod Serling, whose long list of original television dramas includes the award-winning Patterns, Forbidden Area, and Requiem for a Heavyweight. And now, The Comedian.
Thank you,
ladies and gentlemen, that's it for tonight. We want to thank you for coming. Until we meet again, may good luck and good fortune
Preset black.
follow you wherever you go. And take a cab when you're going there, too.
Go to black.
Great.
Are we on time? Mr. Hogarth, can you hear me?
Now, what do you want?
Did you have something that you wanted to say to the cast?
Yes, I'd like to say something to the cast if you can get everybody assembled on
All right,
stage. Now, let's have it a little quieter. Charlie, stop the talking over there, will you? We're not clowning around here. Wipe that smile off your face. Look, we're not... Look at him. George, this guy goes. I'm going to tell you that we haven't got time to fool around with people like that. Now, I mean it. I'm not clowning. Right? Now, listen, everybody. This was pretty rock.
The Comedian, directed by John Frankenheimer, produced by Martin Manulis.
A couple of points here. Mel Torme never really acted again, which is too bad because he was quite good in this. John Frankenheimer said Mickey Rooney was one of the greatest actors he ever saw, which is something that Laurence Olivier also said. So you can tell the level of talent Mickey Rooney had when he was on. By the way, John Frankenheimer also said that Mickey Rooney brought a couple of his girlfriends, a good-looking redhead and a good-looking blonde, to become extras there. And when you watch the picture, you can see them in the background. I said we get back to Rod Serling. This is where Rod Serling and Mickey Rooney first got together, and Rod Serling really liked Mickey Rooney. This Playhouse 90 was a little more than 2 years before Twilight Zone, but when Rod Serling went ahead with Twilight Zone, he gave Mickey Rooney a role in one of the memorable episodes as a jockey, and then he used him about 10 years later in one of his best episodes of Night Gallery. Again, no one emphasized how good Mickey Rooney could be on television. He was actually nominated for 5 Emmys, and in 1981 he won one for his portrayal of a developmentally disabled adult in a TV made-for-movie called Bill.
Bill, that's my name. William. Bill for short. I'm a cleanup man. I do the cleanup work. I was downtown, and this guy come up to me. He said, "Buddy," he didn't know my name. I said, "Yes." He said, "You want to go have a beer with me?" I said, "Sure, buddy, I'll have a beer with you." And then he said, "How would you like for me to knock your teeth out?" I said, "Mine ain't very good anyway." You got to be careful about going downtown. A lot of fights. You got to be careful. Cops pinch you, and they'll put on your record that you're a low-grade man, and then they might put you back in that place. I don't want to talk about it now. Granville.
Granville? That's the state mental institution, isn't it?
But I'm out now. Old Bill's out now. I'm doing fine. And I got me some real hair, like a real good man.
Yeah, that's a long way from Andy Hardy, isn't it? Besides all this, he did a memorable turn on Broadway in 1979 in Sugar Babies with Ann Miller. He called all the shots and got a little obnoxious, but he got a Tony nomination, and they played for more than 4 years on the road. Mickey Rooney could drink too much, womanize too much, gamble too much, be obnoxious in interviews, but when he was good, he was really good for a long, long time.
If I were only carrying a reflector, I'd still like being a part of this great, wonderful bit of game and fun called show business.
Well, I'm going to close on that note. I want to thank my producer, Sid Tepps, and we're going to close tonight with Arthur Smith, who died recently at the age of 93. Here's Matthew Bannister with BBC4's last word to tell you a little bit about Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith, who's died aged 93, had a worldwide hit with this guitar boogie in 1945. The guitar picker from South Carolina influenced a generation of budding musicians, including Paul McCartney, Eric Clapton, and Tom Petty. Arthur hosted popular TV and radio shows in the States, but he became even more famous for this. Dueling Banjos played a prominent role on the soundtrack of the movie Deliverance, but Arthur wasn't credited with writing it, so he sued the producers, claiming it was a direct copy of his song Feuding Banjos. And, as he recalled, a key piece of evidence won him the case.
Eric Weisberg, who they were saying wrote the song, told the court that he learned it from my record that his dad left him when he passed away. I love that.
And to close, Buck Trent and the incomparable Roy Clark in a 1975 variation on Arthur Smith's Dueling Banjos.